G'day everyone, and welcome to the coverage of the 2023 Warrnambool Model Railway Exhibition, which was held over the weekend of January 14th and 15th at the St Joseph's Primary School Hall. In this video, we'll take a look at the layouts and the trade stands that were in attendance. Exhibition reports and other videos on this channel are made possible by the Patreons on Patreon, as well as at the Scale Model Supply and ABR Modelworks, who both offer 10% off for viewers of this channel. And of course, if you haven't already, don't forget to be subscribed so you can keep up to date with all the videos on this channel coming out in the future. So let's have a look at the layouts, starting with English layout, Lord Street Depot. Lord Street Depot is an O-scale or 7mm scale English diorama, loosely based on a British city industrial area, and is still under construction. But when complete, it'll feature all different types of traffic, both coming and going, day and night. Tim told me that he'd only started work on this layout back in August and unfortunately had suffered an electronics failure just prior to being set up at the exhibition. I am very keen to see where this layout goes well into the future. HO scale layout Gisborne by the Sunbury Model Railway Club. Gisborne is located on the Bendigo line and has been open to traffic since 1861. The Sunbury Club's model is HO scale and set during the 1960s and 1970s. The layout features scratch-built points, fine-scale track work and a number of scratch-built buildings. The layout and trains operate under DCC control. Typical trains of the era can be seen on the layout, and they have tried, where possible, to replicate operations with the official railway working timetable. Gisborne is always a fantastic layout to see, plenty of movement and extremely well detailed. James Brooks' N-scale layout, Minami, Chuo, Tetsudo, is a take on a Japanese commuter railway from the land of the original bullet train. Built on T-track modules, this simple yet extremely well presented layout is a really great example of what you can do with a small amount of space and still have a fantastic railway. This railway was probably one of my favourites from the exhibition.
Yeah, so
Adam was back this year with a bit more of a setup. This year he had live steam running around on 2 tracks as well as this traction engine that also I guess kind of ran on a track. A really good example with the 3D printed battery powered locomotives and of course the live steam ones, which I think is always a crowd favourite.
But I don't want to ruin Will's video. No, you're right, you're right. Don't really me. Alright, I'll pull it up across the front. Some wagons about. It mostly follows the track.
Probably one of my standouts at most exhibitions is the Micro Madness stand. I think it's a great example of being able to show that you can build a small layout at home and practice your skills before even going and building a bigger layout. Some of the bases that Phil used to create some of these are things like serving tables and bowls. I think it is a really great example of how you can build a small little diorama with a running railway and level up your skills.
And I get inspiration
Phil also had something that I'd never seen before, a model railway produced by Qantas Australia. Apparently it was available on long-haul flights back in the 80s between Melbourne and Germany. New to the exhibition scene at Peekaboo Creek. This display is a fun experiment aimed at the younger enthusiast. It combines aspects of basic railway scenery with Lego structures, vehicles, people and trains. Located somewhere, it's a place to watch trains go by. N-scale layout, you can do it. You can do it doesn't represent any time or place and is totally freelance. And the layout is conceived by builder Helen's imagination. The layout has no legs and sits on 2 seesaws, and is powered by a H&M Duo power pack and a single clipper unit. The layout uses Pico track. Helen wanted to include a lake, horse riding school, old folks home, shopping precinct, railway station, industrial area, steam loco maintenance, and a small village with farms and a zoo, all on a small layout. They said, with much movement, arguments, and more moving, they were able to fit all of this on the layout without burying the railway lines and trains.
Yeah. Well, as much as we can possibly do on the layout this size. Yeah, so.
I put some contrasting engine on there.
What is that engine? Or is it?
Northwest Passage is based on the northwest coast of the United States of America. The layout is not set in any particular time period, therefore trains of any era may be run. The layout is suited to running long trains, and those most likely to be seen are intermodal, ore, coal, fuel, and grain, mixed freight, and of course the occasional passenger train. This was formerly the Ballarat Model Railway Club's layout, but now is in private ownership by Luke at the Warrnambool Model Railway Club.
Out of Melbourne. Awful went the whole way.
Oh, this is the second last
What will be the last?
like,
Right.
I've renamed it.
Yeah.
Only because Gilmour passed away.
Yeah.
Gilmour is a freelance narrow gauge railway serving a typical rural village, with the railway operating small steam locos for the state works, with a railcar for passenger traffic. Formerly, this layout was Ogmore Valley. However, this layout has been renamed in the memory of the late John Gilmour, who originally built the layout.
Getting from
Borderline is based on a fictional township along the South Australian and Victorian border. Modelled in the 1980s era of South Australian railways and the renaming into Australian National Days. This layout sees a colourful array of rolling stock utilised during this transition. By creating a town on the border, this layout allows for through-running trains from both states to feature, including that transition between the Victorian railways with the introduction of V-Line Orange and Grey.
Order is H-O-D-D-E-R. You guys helped us out on by bringing down extras and all that. I'll just go.
Mickletown is a freelance HO scale layout based on places and buildings around Victoria. The layout has 3 main lines running everything from steam to late diesels and rolling stock. The layout is designed with a steel frame for easy handling, setup and transportation. They used Pico track and it is DCC controlled. And the best in show for the exhibition, Collinsville River Railroad Company. Collinsville is built with a touch of modeller's license, and it was created from original photos, plans and information of tramways, trains and surroundings from all over Australia. Collinsville is a fictitious Australian coastal river port and is modelled in HO scale with broad gauge and On30 track. With Collinsville set in the 1900s, they have tried to obtain the feel of the life and times, hardships and engineering triumphs that our pioneers faced in the rugged terrain, to obtain resources from the forests and development of rural communities into prosperity. All the little scenes throughout the layout can tell a part of the story. Collinsville is still one of the best layouts on the exhibition circuit in Australia, and one that I highly suggest being able to see if you get the chance. And lastly, Art of the Diorama. Art of the Diorama displays dioramas in various scales and live scratch building by the attending modelers. And with this, it demonstrates in diorama form just what can be achieved on your layout. You can also talk to them about how they created the detailed models from scratch from different materials and tools. Probably one of the most important parts of any exhibition.
You just go, I'm 348. Anyway, it's the tank loco, so that's no really any...
And lastly, we'll take a quick look at the retailers who were there. Magna Rail Australia, who also I guess have a layout there demonstrating the Dutch Magna Rail system. Train World had come up from Melbourne. Scale Workshops with their LED lights. Rail Motor Models from Geelong with their quarry wagons and now signals. Southern Cross Hobbies, as well as Road and Rail Hobbies from Geelong. Broad gauge models were in attendance, as well as the Model Emporium hobby store from Melbourne. So that was the exhibition, and it's one I do always like attending. Even if it is just over a 3-hour drive from Melbourne, one way, we still had a grouse day out. And I guess, on a side note, me and 3 other mates did make the trip over, and managed to see some real trains, as well as some old railway remnants on the way there and back. Making for a very interesting day out. And I guess if that isn't for you, I would recommend maybe even planning a little weekend around the exhibition and spending some time on the beautiful Victorian coast. Anyway, if you have any feedback for me on this video, do leave it in the comments. As well as that, I'll have all the links for the Warrnambool Model Railway Club in the description below. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Hooroo!